Gino just said Jasmine's a hoe.
No, he's being cool with it. She's a hoe. She is a hoe.
Yeah, man, let's so laugh. It's so funny. I mean, listen, let's keep it simple, right? So there are some people who are gonna watch this, the clip itself in particular, okay, as well as this video. And some people may be like, well, they're both just laughing along to what Gino said. But you see, I've got two problems here. Probably more than two problems, but problem number one is that why is Kimberly laughing at her son, encouraging the fact that Gino said that she's a hoe? Because you see, as a mother, as a woman, you would expect her to be like, listen, I understand that Gino's saying it and the way he's saying it is coming across quite funny. So yeah, that's funny. But I would not have no son of mine calling another woman a hoe. That's not how I raised you. But then that's what's exposed. Clearly, he's been raised in the way where he's been allowed to say what he wants. That's why he's so comfortable saying that she's a hoe. So realistically, this should have been a teachable moment by Kimberly to her son and say, whoa. We will not be disrespecting women. That's not what we do. If somebody else wants to do it, let them do it. And if it's funny, we'll laugh. But not you. Because you wouldn't like it if somebody called me a hoe, him being his mom. Okay? And that's something that I'm going to expand on in a second. But let me also speak about the other point that I also want to point out here. It's funny how a lot of people are laughing, okay, and are forgetting one thing here. Gino's no saint. Gino wants to stand there and call Jasmine a hoe, okay? But the funny thing about it is he's the one that met her on what website? Oh yeah, a sugar baby website. So he's the one that purposely went out of his way to actually find a woman that may have this whole mentality, okay? And then also went out of his way to even marry that person after funding them so many times for such a long period of time. So even if he wants to sit there and call her a hoe, at the end of the day, he's the dumbass that got with the hoe. He's the dumbass that married. You see what I'm saying? So I don't see how Gino feels that it doesn't make sense to me that Gino thinks that it's okay for him to actually call Jasmine that as if he's not done anything wrong, as if he's been some kind of saint, some kind of angel. Bruh. You're the one entertaining Jasmine all this time. But now let's go back to the other point itself in particular regarding, Kimberly and not pretty much, speaking on her son this moment in time. First and foremost, Kimberly should have been like, listen, okay? Regardless of how you see someone, instead of insulting them and calling them mean names, okay, you could further elaborate on what Gino's saying. So for example, if Gino's sitting there and he's saying, he's saying that Jasmine's a hoe, Kimberly could have been like, first and foremost, you don't say she's a hoe, but you could maybe sit there and list out things that maybe backs up Gino's statements. So for example, Jamal maybe could have said something like, to be fair, Gino's got a point because Jasmine was obviously with him for a set amount of time, and then once she came to America, she found a whole other guy like that. And even before she came to America, she was literally living in the same apartment as her ex. So it is clear that Jasmine likes to be around male attention. You could say something like that insinuates it without you actually having to be insulting, okay? And then also on top of that, you could also say things like, well, she did actually go on a sugar baby website and whatnot, which doesn't always necessarily mean that women that go on those websites are necessarily hoes, but you could also say that maybe that wasn't like, that identifies. You see what I'm saying? So there's ways to call someone out for their behavior without actually insulting them. But that's clearly something that Kimberly has lacked to teach her son for all of these years, clearly. Because the reality is that in that moment in time, when her son was like, yeah, he is a hoe, she just said, no. But so many of us have parents who would have shut us down and humble our attitude, okay? But most importantly, would Jamal be happy if somebody called his mama a hoe? Because I mean, listen, going back to my example of how you can call someone something without actually saying it, let me give you another one. So for example, some of us could sit here and say, well, Kimberly can't be laughing because she's the one that literally spent God knows how many trips going to Nigeria to meet a man that never wanted her. I mean, first and foremost, she flew all this Zanzibar for a man that only saw as a super fan, and she knew that she was only a super fan at the time, but still had the audacity to bring him gifts, whether that be the iPad or iMac or whatever, the PS4, PS5, whichever one it was. And also at the same time, that same time, she also had the audacity to book the honeymoon suite for a man that, again, had made it clear that she was nothing but a fan to him, and then continued to try and pursue him regardless of the fact that he never showed any affection back. I mean, that's an attitude of someone that's very thirsty. And you see what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, listen, you could also sit here that, let's not forget one thing though. Remember before when there was rumors of Riley and Kimberly potentially dating and come back for 90 Day Fiance, until Riley shut it down with announcing that he actually had a whole new person in his life, which is now his fiance Lexi. Well, let's talk about how, like, each time that speculation came up about Kimberly and Riley, each time she was asked that question on her live streams and whatnot, she wouldn't exactly deny it. She wouldn't shut it down. She would play into it. Which, listen, if you was to put certain things together, if she's more than happy to fly over to a whole other country multiple times, try to convince a man to be hers, what was stopping her from trying to actually convince a man that's already got a woman to be hers? I wouldn't be surprised if the whole time she was trying to steal a whole other man from a whole other woman. This is the same woman who decided to marry a young boy in jail for whatever weird reasons. These things do explain a certain caliber of what that person could be. You see how you can say things that actually haven't even saw someone, you just give the details. You see what I'm saying? But it is quite funny that she's there laughing around and her son's more than happy to call someone else a hoe, and sometimes you just gotta look at the person you're sitting next to, hey? But that's just that. But again, you can say those things without being insulting. Now, of course, in no shape or form is this video to defend Jasmine's behavior in any shape or form. Don't you get it twisted. Jasmine has shown that she has lack of morals for herself. She has shown she has lack of respect for how she carries herself. She has shown that she's more than happy to jump from one guy to another guy, you know, with no remorse. She's shown that marriage doesn't mean anything to her. Also on the show, she's shown that even being pregnant doesn't mean anything to her. If something doesn't fit her narrative, she's more than happy to behave in however she sees fit. You know, this is behavior of somebody that clearly, you know, I wouldn't want around me. Do you see what I'm saying? So 100%, those things right there, as I lift them out, they definitely describe the type of person that she may be, but without saying any insulting statement. But let's talk about Gino though. Gino is the guy that did what? He's saying Jasmine is a hoe, but he's the one that's been funding her this whole time. Happily. But at the same time, he's the same person that was not giving her what she needs. And that was pretty much the D. And he never gave her the D enough time. So what happened? She bounced and found somebody else. Which, respectfully, she was wrong to do in the manner that she did it in. Respectfully, if she had left Gino first and then found someone, then we wouldn't be having these conversations. Jasmine is a creator of her own problems. That's the grand scheme. But so is Gino. Gino is also creator of his own problems. So while these two want to be laughing, other people want to be laughing, like at the end of the day, both Gino and Jasmine, they're both as just as each other, you know? But hey, I do agree. The way Gino was calling Jasmine, oh, was funny. I'm not gonna disagree with that one shape or form. But for someone who likes to come on a live stream and say, hey guys, yeah, I look quite good for 50, don't I? Or 54, whatever it is, you know. Yeah, I know I've been losing the weight. Or actually, no, I actually kind of stopped. But you know, I'm getting back on the diet. I know my skin's flourishing. My hair, You think when somebody's doing those things, they do the things to make yourself feel good, to make it just give that woman empowerment, right? So if somebody was to say something cruel or mean, what would you do? And let's not forget though, this is the same person that when Angela Dean came out to insult her son and also insult her, she did say a single goddamn thing. In fact, she came on and defended Angela. So to be fair, am I surprised that she's laughing and she's not correcting her son's attitude and his behavior and his confidence to call another person a hoe? Doesn't surprise me one freaking bit. If anything, this is nothing but just embarrassing. Well, let me know your thoughts down below. But I will say this though. nobody can say that this was due to production because they've been in the show for a long time, so they know what they can say and what they cannot say. You dig what I'm saying? So everything was said freewheelingly, and we know Gino would have meant it. I mean, Jamal would have meant it with his chest because he's friends with Rob and Josh, and probably now Gino. Imagine that. Gino's a part of your friend circle. Imagine that. But then again, at the same time, though, I'll leave it there. With that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.